Hello everyone, welcome to City Talk. I'm Thermice Bevelle. It's a brand new term for elected city officials. 2014 brings a fresh start for the Board of Education, a second administration for the mayor, and a slightly different city council. City Talk's Troy Danicus gives us a look at how Inauguration 2014 came together.
Of the city of Atlanta.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations and best wishes.
Thank you.
And with that, Kasim Reed takes his second oath of office. Two of the most talked about issues during Reed's inauguration speech centered on public safety and infrastructure. The Atlanta Police Department has seen enormous change under the mayor's leadership. George Turner was selected to head the department after an exhaustive nationwide search. The opening of the Video Integration Center in partnership with the Atlanta Police Foundation ties public and private security cameras into one system to better help officers on the beat. And the department reached its goal of recruiting 2,000 officers.
But what we understand in Atlanta is that it's not simply enough to be tough on crime. We also decided to be smart on crime.
Another big issue that featured in Reed's speech was infrastructure spending. The city currently has a backlog of over $900 million worth in projects.
We still have some large infrastructure challenge we're compelled to address right away. Roads, bridges, tunnels, sidewalks, green spaces, parks.
It's something that Reed's former chief operating officer feels the city is now able to tackle.
It's going to be very exciting to see the city, now that it's stabilized its fiscal position, to start investing again in its infrastructure.
The mayor plans to appoint a panel this year to help eliminate waste in city operations. He says that is the first step in issuing $150 to $250 million in bonds to help fund a slate of infrastructure projects around the city.
This bond referendum will expand our green spaces, improve our roads, bridges, and sidewalks. We're going to make the most significant single investment in modern times above the ground.
The mayor says streamlining city operations by eliminating waste will keep property taxes at current levels. For City Talk, I'm Troy Danicus.
Caesar Mitchell was sworn in for a second term as council president. In his inaugural address, Mitchell said he will continue collaborating with elected officials from other governing bodies that also serve Atlantans, and he promised a city council that is vigilant.
In 2014, the Atlanta City Council is prepared to do the work today that will ensure a more prosperous tomorrow for our children and our children's children. Our agenda must remain more robust than our challenges and as ambitious as our opportunities.
Mitchell thanked citizens for a shared sacrifice in helping the city get through a tough economic time, and urged us to keep Atlanta first in our hearts, first in our minds, and first in our souls. President Mitchell announced City Council committee assignments for the legislative year. The City Council has 7 standing committees. Mitchell says a lot of thought goes into selecting committee chairs. Natalie Archibong chairs the City Utilities Committee. C.T. Martin has Public Safety. Yolanda Adrian leads the Zoning Committee. Alex Wong chairs Finance Executive. Felicia Moore is the Transportation Chairperson. Freshman Council member Andre Dickens has Community Development Human Resources. And Mary Norwood is Chair of Committee on Council. The new year rings in a pay increase for the Atlanta City Council. Last year, the council voted 10-4 in favor of a $20,000 raise. That pushes the pay for council members and the president to above $60,000. The idea to raise council pay was initiated by the Elected Officials Compensation Commission. A report issued by the group showed that Atlanta council members were making $11,000 less than their peers in similar-sized cities. Public safety is one of the most important aspects of running any city, large or small. Atlanta's Police Academy is held up as an example of one of the best police training facilities in the country, and only the best recruits leave the academy with a badge pinned to their chest.
It's a wonderful feeling to finally be sworn in. It was a grueling, hard 5.5 months, but the training has been worth it.
Coming up later on City Talk, we'll hear the story of one APD recruit and his journey through the police academy. The City of Atlanta and the Atlanta Beltline welcomed the police department's Path Force unit to the lofts at Reynoldstown Crossing. The unit patrols the Beltline and all of its adjoining parks. Councilwoman Natalie Archibong says good things are happening in the area.
When you look out the back windows of the windows at the Reynoldstown Loft, you're looking at the Beltline. And so now to have a precinct here reinforces our commitment to keeping the Beltline as safe and attractive and as inviting as possible.
The Path Force unit is funded by a $1.8 million federal grant and has seasoned APD officers who are also military veterans. Across the country, many cities felt lower than normal temperatures as the new year rolled in. Here in Atlanta, temperatures dropped below freezing. The city of Atlanta opened the old Adamsville Recreation Center as a temporary emergency shelter for residents who needed a warm place to stay. When we have frigid temperatures, an emergency shelter is open to everyone, not just the homeless.
We've had people anywhere from 5 to 72 people here at one time, and they've been getting food and services provided by the Red Cross as well as our department, and Georgia Correctional has brought in hot meals.
Residents can call the Mayor's Office of Constituent Services at 404-330-6023 for assistance. Councilmember Joyce Shepard was glad to see an abandoned house at 592 University Avenue be torn down, where trash, broken glass, and debris were being dumped. Shepard worked closely with several city departments for months to get the collapsed house demolished. If you have concerns about neglected properties in your neighborhood, contact the Office of Code Compliance at 404-330-6190. The community was out in District 4 for the final installation of the West End Streetscape project. The artwork features large panels on the north sidewalk of Abernathy Boulevard between Lee Street and Lowry Boulevard. It tells the story of Atlanta's historic West End, a community that dates back to the 1830s.
Had a historian come in and actually give a lot of history of the rich history that's happened out here in West End, and we're just go ahead and depicting it with the art panels that are going in. So it's going to be really great. It's going to be an opportunity for the community, for children to walk by. We're going to have signage so they'll be able to understand and kind of learn about the history, and it's just be somewhat of an attraction.
The work depicts various landmarks in the community, including the Wren's Nest, the railroad, and the original Whitehall Tavern, and the buildings within the Atlanta University Center. Atlanta Gas Light and the City of Atlanta are partners in the Better Buildings Initiative Energy Data Accelerator. The pair collaborates on how to cut energy waste in Atlanta buildings. This program is an extension of the Better Buildings Challenge that both partners signed on to in 2011. Kids at Brown Middle School stuck around for an extra class to learn how to deal with real-life issues. And Commissioner Richard Mendoza brings us up to date on the Department of Public Works. Stay with us. Public Works Commissioner Richard Mendoza is with us today. Commissioner, thank you so much for being here.
Certainly, it's my pleasure.
You have been the Commissioner of Public Works since 2010. What are some of the accomplishments in the department over the last 4 years?
Well, the last 4 years went by rather quickly, but thanks to the leadership of our mayor and the support of City Council, our department of over 700 Public Works professionals have been able to accomplish many things in our core service areas of transportation, fleet, and solid waste. First, in the area of transportation, we successfully closed out the prior Quality of Life Bond Program. What that does is it positioned us well to implement the next bond program for infrastructure. We also completed over $2.5 million of emergency bridge repairs throughout the city, including the Adams Drive Bridge, which has been out of service for over 5 years. In the areas of solid waste, we expanded our recycling through the Cartlanta program by accelerating the delivery of 96-gallon bins to over 96,000 customers throughout Atlanta. This increases our amount of recycling materials, reduces our costs to the landfills, and actually creates more revenue for the city.
What can we expect for 2014?
For 2014, we're going to continue the delivery of these core public works services. We're going to focus on the areas of excellent customer service. We're also going to reinvest in our employees in terms of safety training and just professional training and development. Our employees are our most valuable resource. We're also looking forward to developing and implementing in the next couple of years the next infrastructure bond program to start reinvesting in our transportation network. And in the areas of solid waste, you can look forward to our expansion of our recycling efforts, our sustainability measures, and expanding recycling not just from residences but also to in-house city buildings as well as commercial.
Public Works is often the lead agency when it comes to storm response, and we recently had icy conditions. How do you prepare for snow and ice?
Well, it's actually a year-round effort. We learned from our experience in 2011 that we needed additional resources to provide an adequate response to our road network in the event of winter weather. So our investment since that time has been in over 40 additional snowplows and 30 additional sand spreaders. That equipment is maintained in storage throughout the year to allow us to rapidly respond to a moderate to severe winter storm event. We actually conduct off-season training and field exercise in advance of the winter season. So we watch the forecasts closely. If there's a more than 50% chance of frozen precipitation, we plan to go to 12-hour shifts. We call in all of our departmental resources necessary, crews, supervisors, admin, personnel, and we put that plan in place in advance of the storm so that we can address any icy conditions on the road and make sure our citizens have a safe traveling road network.
The Atlanta streetcar, how's that project coming?
That project is coming along really well, and it's one of the highlights, I feel, of the last couple of years, and it will continue to be going forward. It's about 75% complete now. It's 2.7 miles in length, and we will be riding on that streetcar before this summer. It's actually the first leg of what we envision to be additional legs of light rail in the city. It's the first streetcar in the city in over 50 years, and the vision is to have it connect actually to the Beltline. It's going to be a great transportation enhancement improvement for our city. It's going to transform and reconnect neighborhoods, and we're very excited to be a part of that project team.
As the City of Atlanta enhances sustainability initiatives, how does your department play a role in that?
All divisions of our department play a significant role in partnering with the Mayor's Office of Sustainability to help us realize his goal of being a top 10 sustainable city in the country. In the area of transportation, we're looking at concepts of complete streets. So that means designing our roads, improving our roads that provide alternatives for our citizens other than just riding in automobiles. So that's safe pedestrian networks, that's safe bicycle networks, all those save fuel, cut commute times, and help us in the area of sustainability. We are also exploring alternative road building materials rather than just conventional concretes and asphalts that are porous and cause runoff. We can use permeable concrete that allows water to filter through, clean that water before it goes in our lakes and streams, as well as alternative forms of asphalt that are not as hot when we put in and do not give off as many volatile emissions into the air. In the area of fleet, we purchased our first order of natural gas alternative fuel vehicle garbage trucks. That cuts down on our fuel costs as well as our dependence on gasoline. It's cleaner burning fuel, and we look forward to continuing that effort, expanding not only from garbage trucks but to other pieces of equipment within the fleet. And then our fleet services division, we completed our first successful online auction of surplus city vehicles. And so that cuts down, of course, on the cost for operating, saves the city money, and moves us towards right-sizing our fleet, all to meet the sustainability goals.
All right, Commissioner Mendoza, thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. My pleasure.
It's round 3 for the Year Boulevard, and the cold weather didn't stop these folks who pitched in to clean a neighborhood park. Back in a moment. Last year, the Atlanta Police Department reached a milestone by recruiting 2,000 officers, but it's a long journey from being a recruit to finally becoming an APD officer. Troy Danicus sits down with one exceptional recruit who never thought his life would lead him behind the thin blue line.
Thank you, sir. I'll see you in about 15-20 minutes. Yes, sir. Thank you.
The journey to become an officer with the Atlanta Police Department has been an interesting one for David Jackson. We first met him in January last year after he was accepted as a recruit.
I think that the academy is designed to be a place where they're going to push your buttons. They're going to put you in situations to see, are you going to snap? Are you going to break? Will you break under pressure? So I'm actually really looking forward to this experience. Asked me that halfway through the academy.
Those weeks and months in between being accepted and setting your foot down at the academy for the first time is usually filled with office work at public safety headquarters. But before David got here, his life was on a completely different trajectory. In high school, he initially wanted to become a doctor, but found little support from his teachers.
Some teachers are like, well, you're smart, but you have some challenges in some areas, and we don't know how you're going to be able to do it. I had attention deficit disorder.
His faith and his mother's faith in him sustained his desire to become a doctor. David eventually attended Cornell University, where he earned his bachelor's in Africana Studies. He then went on to earn a master's in divinity from Union Theological Seminary in New York City. The experience had a profound effect on the young man.
It taught me to really have a love for justice, a love for people who are oppressed and marginalized, people who don't have a voice, people who don't have agency, and to use my intellect, to use my voice, to use my influence to fight for those who can fight for themselves.
After receiving his master's, David came back to Georgia to help take care of his mother. Soon after, he applied to the APD. Several weeks of desk duty went by before a spot opened up in the police academy. We caught up with him again 6 months later. On this wet summer morning, David's class underwent one of the academy's more painful training exercises.
What we're finna do now is go out on the course, and they're going to expose us to the OC spray, and we have to do a number of drills. And what they want to see is that we can maintain our composure.
Jumping jacks, son, let's go.
David says his academy experience has been eye-opening.
I spent most of my life really developing my mind and my spirit, not as much my body. And the academy forces you to really develop your body, but also integrate your mind, your soul, your body.
Policing today is more than walking a beat and chasing down perps. Officers today are expected to be technologically savvy and customer service oriented, as well as being a trained weapon. New innovations such as the Video Integration Center and Predictive Policing, or PredPol, are changing the ways we fight crime in the 21st century. At David's swearing in 2 months later, his mother is all smiles as she watches her son take his oath.
Any other state or any foreign state?
If he had a desire, then it had to be placed through God, and that was a good profession, and that he could do good work to being in service.
Throughout the process of becoming an officer, David's mother and their faith have been the rock upon which he builds his new career.
I pray with him, I talk with him, I encourage him, so I've been very supportive of him, and it's good, it's a good thing, and when good things come to you, you don't turn blue.
Out in the field, David gets to put his training to good use, both what he learned at the academy and what he learned on his path to the ministry.
You know, policing is more than running and gunning. That's a part of that. But it's just a lot of building relationships with people, getting people in your beat, in your area to trust you and feel like they can come to you when there's issues in their community.
His training officer on this 9th week of field training says David is a good example of the kinds of officers the police academy wants to put on the street.
With him, it's more like having a partner than having a trainee, because he's very good at talking to folks, and I think most people just assume he's my regular partner.
I am loving being an officer. Coming into it, I didn't know what to expect, but now that I'm in field training, I'm loving it.
For City Talk, I'm Troy Danicus.
After David Jackson's class finishes field training, they will officially graduate from the Atlanta Police Academy. Councilmember Kwanzaa Hall and the 4th Ward Alliance kicked off the 2014 edition of the Year of Boulevard. The Yo Boulevard initiative is a multi-year effort to improve the lives of children, families, and seniors along District 2's Boulevard corridor. It was launched in 2012 with tremendous success, and the group spent most of 2013 creating new accomplishments and continuing to build on supportive community relationships. MailChimp, one of the new partners for 2014, presented a $20,000 donation that will fully fund the urban farming camp at Truly Living Well this summer. There's a new dog park in town. The ribbon cutting ushered in Atlanta's 3rd dog park. Councilman Hall, the city, Park Pride, and the community all chipped in to make it possible. The off-leash dog park in the old 4th Ward's Renaissance Park features separate areas for large and small dogs and offers several water fountains for thirsty pups. It was a team effort as dozens of volunteers cleaned and spruced up Washington Park. Mayor Reed, Councilman Dickens, folks from Lead, and tons of others rolled up their sleeves to tidy things up. This day of community service included cutting overgrowth, planting flowers, and cleaning up the intersection.
And seeing all these folks come out to do such good work, this is what Atlanta's all about. And something that I'm committed to is making sure that we know that everyone's responsible for this Atlanta.
As we come out of this difficult financial situation that the mayor steered us through, I think you'll see more investment in the quality of life issues such as public works and parks, so that the people in Atlanta will continue to see just a better quality of life.
Volunteers said this was an opportunity to do service in the community. In the spirit of the new year, a new you can be possible. And we learn how you can get a sneak peek at the new Falcon Stadium. That's next. It's no secret the influence rap and hip-hop can have on our younger generation. Our next story looks at how one multi-platinum producer uses the popularity of this music and lifestyle to teach positive life skills to middle school students. Students at Brown Middle School enjoy a musical presentation by Kevin K.O. Cates, but this rapper and multi-platinum music producer isn't here to simply perform. He is here to teach a lesson.
For every chapter in the book, I produced the song for it. So we're going to go on a little journey today.
K.O. Cates is CEO and founder of a unique program called Bridge the Gap.
It teaches our youth patience, self-determination, self-love, how to control your anger, bullying, gang violence, how to deal with losing loved ones, don't make excuses in life, substance abuse, HIV awareness.
He says the inspiration for creating Bridge the Gap came from lessons learned from his father.
It's one thing to be successful and it's another thing to be significant and actually leave a legacy behind.
Soon that lesson became a mission after K.O.'s father passed away, and he decided to put his music on hold.
So I ended up taking a year and a half off to write Bridge the Gap. It's a textbook and it's a curriculum that's state standard. It's in schools throughout Georgia and all over the U.S., spreading rapidly. We're in the Bahamas as well. And it teaches life skills and character building through music.
My parents' age about the importance of owning your future.
President Mitchell was on hand to help empower the middle schoolers.
For Kevin to do this in terms of creating a music-based curriculum to help inspire young people, to help give them what I would call the tools for learning, I just think this is really neat, and I really applaud him for really thinking outside of the box.
The Office of Recreation encouraged Atlantans to start the year off right by improving our wellness with a day of fitness. Free classes were offered at the Adamsville Recreation Center as part of the New Year, New You Challenge. Fitness classes included spinning, water aerobics, boot camp, senior dancercise, and yoga. Circuit training and body mass index testing were also available. The Atlanta Falcons will open a $1 million sales center to give fans a preview of their new $1.2 billion stadium. The interactive attraction will be at the Piazza at Paces off Northside Parkway. The sales center will feature a model of the new stadium, renderings of the building, and a 3D experience that puts you inside a suite. Falcons owner Arthur Blank hopes to break ground on the new venue in March. Construction will be completed in time for the 2017 football season. Thank you for watching City Talk. I'm Thermice Bevelle.